What's the password? Welcome to Divine Talks. We're just getting started. I'm still warming up, playing the music in the background to introduce us. I hope IG doesn't cut me off with this music. I don't have the rights to the music. I just want to vibe and introduce us, or I guess the music to serve as an introduction to this powerful conversation. Hey. Can I turn this up a little bit? Hey, Coach E is in the building already. I'm just warming up, sister. I'm just warming up, just getting us flowing. I hope they don't cut me off. Let me know the rules on here, because I don't know if this music is gonna disqualify the. If not, I'll just start it over. Big L wanted to come out today. Big L is coming out today. Hey. Hey. In order to. I've just sent you a request, sis.
Hey, how you
How you
doing?
fighting with me?
You over there partying, girl. I'm loving it. Hey,
I'm trying to.
welcome to the Foot of
So I use
Broccoli.
this song as the flyer that I posted today, like the background song. I'm like, okay, let's bring it
Yes.
in like this.
Yes.
Hey, okay, I'm gonna turn it down in a minute.
Hey,
Okay.
everyone. I hope I see a lot of my
Yeah.
people hopping on. Hello. Hello,
Yeah.
everyone.
Welcome
What's up,
in.
y'all? Happy Sunday. I hope you guys are enjoying yourself. Miss Loretta is over there feeling
Yeah.
herself, jamming.
The energy,
The energy,
energy. Like
baby.
I
We're going to
said,
get it popping
let me even be
today.
honest. You are inspiring some of this energy, because I know that your energy is like I text you, big D energy, big divine
Big
energy.
divine energy.
So it's even
Yes.
channeling that energy that I have. It's at the masculine side as well. So shout out to you
Yes.
for even bringing this, because I typically don't do this on live. I do it within my small circle, but
Well, girl,
I'm still
we living
struggling
our
with
true
showing
self.
all the facets of
Uh-huh.
myself.
Step into your true self.
Yes,
Embrace
ma'am.
all of you. What's
Yes,
up,
ma'am.
y'all? I see y'all saying, hey, coach. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Happy Sunday to everybody. I hope y'all having a great time, having a great
Yes,
day. And I
yes,
just love to see the faces down there.
yes. Thank you guys for joining from Coach E's tribe. Thank you for being here. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's get started. Let me adjust a little bit.
Yeah.
First of all, how are you feeling today, sis? How are you feeling?
I am feeling blessed. I feel good. I'm grateful. I woke up in a state of gratitude today.
Bless.
It's been an interesting week, but I am so grateful today. How you feeling today?
That's the same energy. When I say it's like roller coasters, but I am flowing with the storms. Instead of fighting it, I'm just gliding with it. And it's been
Uh,
beautiful once I just decided to just surrender. So all is well. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
That's the best
Thank
place
you.
to be in, is in that flow
Yes.
state. Not giving
Yes.
no resistance,
Mhm.
not asking why me, but just staying in that flow state and understanding that
Yes,
everything
ma'am.
is unfolding as it should be.
Yes, ma'am. Ashe. Okay, so let's get into this. Before we do, as I said, I wanted to do like a light meditation or grounding exercise that'll bring
Okay.
us present, bring us here. So I'm not using my sound bowl today. I'm just gonna use the chimes.
Okay.
So the people that are here, again, thank you for being here. My name is Loretta, and we're gonna do some introductions after we get past this. But thank you for being here. And if you've made it to the live thus far, all 28 and 29 of you guys, thank you for being here. Let's just ground. I'm not sure. Some people went out yesterday. Yesterday was Saturday, so sometimes you go out on Saturdays. The next morning could be kind of like, okay, I'm waking up Sunday draggy. So the fact that you're
Uh-huh.
here is appreciated. So I just kind of want to get us grounded and relaxed to get into the conversation, the deep conversations. So
Okay.
if I can have you, for those who are sitting, if I can just have you bring your attention to your feet, and to those who are laying down, just feel your or feel the connection between your body and the surface you're laying on. If it's on the bed, if it's on the floor, just bring your attention to the surface or the connection between your physical body connecting with the surface that you're laying on, if it's the bed or the floor.
Okay.
Close your eyes, take a deep breath in and exhale. Again, stay focused. Those who are sitting, stay connected to the feet, connecting with the earth. Those who are laying down, feel the space between your body and the surface. Stay present. Deep breath in, exhale. We're going to take one more breath. This time we're going to hold it for 4 seconds. And when we exhale for 6 seconds. Deep breath in, hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Release really slow. Bring your attention to your breath coming down your throat, down to your heart space, down to your stomach, down your thighs, your legs, and exhale through your feet. Relax. Keep staying present and keep breathing in and out. Keep breathing about 10 more seconds. Bring your attention to the sound of the chime. Quiet the thoughts from yesterday, from the club last night, from the stuff that the man or the woman said, all the stuff at work from Saturday and Friday. Leave that to the side right now and just focus on the chime, quieting your mind. Now stop thinking about what's going to happen after the live, what you're going to do later on this evening, what work is going to feel like tomorrow, Monday. Leave that to the future. Focus on your feet, your body, or the chimes. Stay focused. Keep breathing in and out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. All right, now let's slowly come back to Divine Talks.
Hey.
Thank you guys for doing that with me. How you feeling? Share with me. How was that for you?
I feel good. I feel nice and relaxed, and I'm excited to do this.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. It's such an honor to have
Yes.
you. I want to say, first of all, thank you for agreeing to share this space and this kind of controversial and deep topic with me.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Hey, Miss
yes.
Tiffany. How you doing, honey?
Welcome in, Miss Tiffany. All right, so let's start with some introductions. Again, my name is Loretta Ita, and I am a certified spiritual and life coach with Divination Life Coaching. Essentially, what I do is help people balance the mind, body, soul with practical coaching tools and spiritual therapeutic tools, a combination of both. I've created a program that helps people heal mind, body, soul, and focusing on invisible blockages that prevent us from getting to our ultimate goals and desires. So that's what I do. I have created a talk show, a live IG talk show called Divine Talks. Divine Talks was birthed from, I guess, a place of I wouldn't say loneliness, but not really, just having a small circle of only a few people that you can have deep conversations with. So I said
Okay.
to myself, like, my soul wanted to be fed more and more with certain type of conversations. And it wasn't things that, it wasn't conversations that you have every day
Right.
or every month or sometimes even every year. So at some point, I think the Divine Talks was birthed around COVID during, can we even say the C word on IG? I don't even know the rules, but
I think we can
during the
now. I
pandemic.
think we're so
Okay.
far into it. I
Okay,
think
good.
we
We're
can
good to
now.
go.
For a while, we couldn't say
Um,
anything.
Right, right. So it was birthed from that time. I said, you know what, like, I think that especially in isolation, I felt like
Yeah.
maybe more people were thinking like me. More people wanted a space or a platform or a tribe of people, like-minded people to have this type of conversations with. So I decided to take a chance and create Divine Talks and make it public on social media, fighting through my own fears of being seen and being vulnerable and all of that. So that's how Divine Talks was created. Divine Talks is called, Divine Talks Conversations with the Soul is essentially a platform that allows us to have this type of conversations, conversations that can help us grow, help us thrive, help us spiritually elevate, and get
Mm.
to our highest potential and live a life of peace and freedom. So it's really about that. That's the whole point of the conversation. And so opening up with the whole world that needs this type of conversations to get them
Yes,
through life. So
that's
that is my
wonderful.
intention. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. We're on season 10, or I should say episode 10, not
Woo!
season 10, episode 10. And it's just that divine number. And thank you to you. Like,
Congratulations.
thank you. Thank you so much. I've had amazing guests on here. Like like I was telling you when we were chatting, my spirit just leads me. It could be someone I know in real life or someone I just go down and I'm like, okay, that's the one. It just
Wow.
happens like that. And
Beautiful.
everyone that I've reached out to have been like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So I know it's
I'm
divine.
honored. I'm
Divine
truly
talks.
honored.
Oh, definitely. Number 10. And then also when I was telling you about the 888, that's one of my sacred numbers again. During my transformation, the numbers 5-3 kept coming up and it equals 8. And I would see 538, 538. And I know that 8 is that's why it's actually called Divine Talks 5-3. It's part of
Oh,
that. And your number
okay, okay,
888.
okay.
So it's in alignment is what I'm trying to say. It's in alignment.
It is an alignment. Yes, it is,
Yes,
baby.
ma'am.
I love it.
So, okay, so yeah, that's just a little bit about myself and Divine Talks. Again, the topic today is spiritual elevation, how to navigate
Mm.
cultural experiences. Before I go any further into more of the segment, I will let Miss E introduce herself. I think that her words can only do justice into her introduction. So I'll let her speak.
Well, thank you. What's up, everybody? I am Coach E. I've been a life coach full time for about 2 years now. I was a correction officer for 7 years, decided to quit my job and do this full time. And it's been working out. It is truly a gift of mine to help
Mhm.
people raise their consciousness, raise their awareness, raise their elevation, help them step into becoming the best version of themselves, and really enhance that self love so they can really appreciate themselves through and through. So,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
a lot of people that's joined in, they definitely know a lot about me. I'm so glad to have you guys on. I'm so glad to see that you guys
Yes.
have all joined. But I absolutely love being a life coach. It is, I feel like it is my duty to help people with their confidence and to really just step into the true selves. And that's
Yes, and
about
you're
it for
doing an
me.
amazing job doing it. That's
Thank
how I got
you.
connected to you. It's just your words and the energy behind what you're saying and the meaningness behind it. So I feel like it's one of those things that if you align with the message, you align with the message. It may not be for everyone. That's why I
That's
always say
right.
try, like minds. So yes,
This
ma'am.
is
I'm
true.
honored
This
to
is
have you.
true because I know that I'm okay that some of my coaching style or my content is not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. I have
Yeah.
kind of like a rough side, the type of crowd that God always put me in front of, and I'm always coaching to are the people who are a little rough around the edges. May come from a
Mhm.
rough background. They're the ones
Mhm.
who need to be like like, hey, like this is what it is, instead of no, Cody, don't do that.
Yeah.
So
Yes, ma'am. Big
I
D
love the
energy.
crowd that I've been talking to.
Yes, that's amazing. Thank you. Okay, so before I go into the actual topic, I just want your opinion as well. This topic, what does it mean to you, spiritual elevation? Why do you think that we're taking time out of our Sundays? Most people work Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. Sunday's a rest day. Why are we taking time from our rest day to talk about spiritual elevation and how to navigate society. Why do you think this topic is so important?
I think this topic is extremely important because first off, resting is definitely a part of elevation. So for us to dive in on elevation on a rest day, I feel like it's kind of a synchronicity without
That's how I
realizing
feel.
it.
I'm rested.
Me,
I
me
feel
too.
rested.
I feel completely rested. But spiritual elevation, I want us to help people unlock their true potential because, and I'm not here to offend anyone, but y'all know, especially my followers, my supporters, y'all know I'm gonna keep it real with this thing.
Yes, please do.
Especially
Please do.
sometimes when we grow up in religion, it kind of suppresses the spirituality side and because we get caught up in the don't do this, don't say that, and it becomes very
Yeah.
very chop chop chop, obey this, follow these rules, and it takes us far away from spirituality. And we tend to forget that we are spiritual beings first.
Mhm.
We are spiritual beings before religion, before a church, before a man-made group,
Yeah.
before any of that. So if we can get back in tune, back in alignment, and start to remember that we are spiritual beings first, and we can start
Mhm.
to unlock our spiritual gifts. We can start to unlock how to speak our life into existence, manifest our things. We
Mhm.
can learn how to center ourselves. We can learn how to get our nervous system in alignment. And once we start to
Mhm.
center ourselves and work from the spiritual on the outside, then everything seems to fall into place. So I feel like spirituality and talking about the elevation of it is going to give some people some breakthroughs.
Definitely. Ashe. Well said. Well said.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So for me, I'm actually gonna read something. It's actually one of
Okay.
the captions I used when I was posting some of your videos, doing my marketing. I'm gonna read that. I said it
Okay.
so well, I don't even want to mess up, so I'm just gonna read what I wrote.
Okay.
So, spiritual growth has been a popular topic in the last few years.
Hmm.
There's a reason why that is. The dynamics of our environment, the world around us, is shifting, as we all can see. People all around the world are having more spiritual experiences and growth than ever before. This is a testament that creation and the creator needs the earth and its inhabitants to shift into higher consciousness,
Hmm.
out with the old and in with the new. However, spiritual elevation comes with its own challenges, especially being that everyone is shifting according to their own speed and their own life path,
Hmm.
or have chosen not to shift at all. That's also another option.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Due to that, those who are hearing the call and answering it will have some challenges from society, being that some energetic forces and people are designed to oppose this transformation, spiritually and physically. This episode will be very powerful. It will be a very powerful introduction to what spiritual growth and elevation means. We will be talking about how to navigate all the pressures and expectations from society and stay grounded on the journey to elevation. This
Yes, I
is
love
really
that.
why this topic. Thank you. This is why we're doing this. It's important.
Yes,
It's
it
important.
is.
So, to me, I feel like the spiritual path is one of the roughest experience I've ever been on. Like my spiritual growth journey. It's been one of the most beautiful and the most roughest. It's like the yin
Beautiful
and the yang.
disaster.
Yes, yes. But I think that we live in a society where a lot of people, as a coach, as you know, a lot of people are afraid to really leave the old self and
Hmm.
transform to the new self. It's not that they don't want to, even for me, it took me years to get here. And I'm
Yep.
still on the journey. There's no destination, right? We
Yeah.
we just keep going. But I am definitely elevated from 5 years ago and 10 years
Yes.
ago and 20, and 15 years ago. That's the blessing there. So I think that we're in a society where people are really struggling with also staying grounded and also being their authentic selves around the naysayers, whether it be
Hmm.
family, friend, or culture.
Woo.
So that's
Yes.
why, yes, that's why I think that this is important. So now let's go into the conversation. Actually, I want us to hear more about you, Coach E. Tell us a little bit about where you're from. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? And how did you even get into coaching?
Okay, so I was born in Vegas, but I grew up in
You told me
California. Yeah, I grew up
that.
in
Okay.
California. But I consider both places home. I consider Vegas and California home. My mom lives in California, my dad lives in Vegas, and I have both sides of both families in both places.
Mm,
Growing up in California, it was like a wild card, especially because I've traveled all over the world. So I compare a lot of places to California, and I'm like, yeah, California is it definitely can breed some hustlers. It breeds a lot of people who are strong. I feel like if you can survive in California, you can survive anywhere,
mm.
because I mean the bills, the
Yeah,
money, the all of that, you
I
know.
can see that.
But it equips you to have like such thick skin to conquer the world. So that's where I grew up. I loved going to school out there. I loved high school. When I was in
Okay.
high school, I was a cheerleader. I was a cheer captain in high school.
Okay.
So I got used to being in front of the camera and being on stage. Um, in high school, I found myself always being the go-to friend to ask for advice, the go-to friend to ask for,
Mhm,
relationships, dealing with boys and girls and all of this and all of that.
mhm.
I always found myself providing that sound judgment for people, providing that, being that voice of reason for people. And I didn't really know that it was going to be to this capacity when I was such younger,
Yeah,
but looking back, I could see that it was all a part of the
for
plan.
sure.
It was all a part of the
For
process.
sure.
So I ended up leaving California and I moved to Colorado in 2011. I had gotten married, and that my husband at the time, who's the father of my two children, he was in the military. So that broadened my whole world and whole
Mm,
perspective,
yeah.
being military affiliated, being a
Yeah.
military wife, and dealing with deployments, and but also opened my eyes to a lot of government stuff that
Mm,
listen,
I bet.
baby, that
I
that
bet.
also kind of participated or aided, I should say, aided me in my spiritual awakening, because I
Yeah.
saw a lot of things
Okay.
that were very
That's
disturbing.
powerful. That's
Yeah.
powerful.
So it kind of set precedence for, it don't matter what you got going on in this world, you got to find security in here,
Yeah.
because there's gonna always be somebody who ain't for you. There's gonna always be somebody who's out for control and domination and manipulation, and being a part of being a part of government entities. You really get exposed to some things. You be like, wow, okay.
I'm a
So I was exposed
conspiracy
to a
theorist,
lot
so
of
yep,
things.
I agree. Yep.
So, yeah, so
I definitely
that helped me
agree.
ground myself and center myself, and finding, okay, you got to find peace in here, you got to
Yeah.
find love in here. You've got to be the foundation of everything that you got going on, not
Yeah.
nobody on the outside. So I feel like that gave me some spiritual strength. Um I did grow up as a Christian. I did grow up very religious. We didn't go to church often, but Christian teachings were definitely taught to me. So, what fast forward, when I went through a divorce, that is what really catapulted me into my spiritual awakening. Um,
Okay.
but when I went through that divorce, I felt a little bad, because I started to question things like, the math ain't really mathing from what I was taught over here at this church and what I've been taught and if you don't know anything about spirituality, you don't choose spirituality. It chooses you when you wake up.
Yeah.
It
Oh.
snatches you up and puts you in a chokehold and like
Uh-huh.
start shaking you, saying, there's more truth than this. Everything that you
Uh-huh.
question in, like, there's validity in it. It's valid.
Yeah.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I started to pay attention and started to listen to my that inner voice,
Yeah. Yeah.
and started to listen to the inner voice, started to take heed to it, listen to what it was saying. And then I started working in a prison, and I really started coaching people in the prison. I was
Mm,
coaching all kinds of different kind of people, different walks of life, different religions, different ethnicities, different backgrounds. And when I was working in that prison, that's when I really start to see the fruits of my labor. Like, wow, like, I'm changing people's life. I saw how powerful it was. Like, I'm literally helping a murderer, a serial killer who don't want to
mm.
talk to nobody, who's not
Wow.
listening to nobody, but I'm bringing some realizations to him. He's listening to
Yeah.
me, and not only is he
Yeah.
listening to me, he's showing appreciation, and I'm helping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as I started to really look at that and really harness it, then I started getting those spiritual pulls, like the universe was tugging on me, like,
Yep.
okay, it's time for you to step into this completely, because you truly got a gift at this.
Mm,
So I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna quit my job. And I battled it for probably for 2 months, maybe. No, I'm not. You're scared. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it. You don't know what's gonna happen next. How are you gonna do this? How are you just gonna quit your job? And I mean, it was daunting on me so much. I would wake up out of my sleep 2, 3, 4 in the morning. Quit your job, Ebony. Quit your job, Ebony. And I
Wow.
was terrified.
Spirit
Like
is
I was
strong.
shook.
Your ancestors were showing up,
Uh-huh. But I
talking
tell
to
you
you.
what, I
Yes,
answered the call. I
yes,
answered the call. I woke
yeah.
up. I
You did it.
said,
You did it.
I said, okay, I'm finna do it. Like, okay, this is what's where it's leading me. So I answered the call. I quit my job, and I didn't know how I was gonna get clients. I didn't know what was next, but I trusted that my faith was definitely greater than my fears, for sure. I
Mm,
believed in myself, and I knew that not only was I connected to God, but God was running through my veins, running through my blood cells, running through my hair follicles. Like, okay, like it was like being ignited. You know what I mean?
yes,
So
yes.
I just trusted it. And every day I never knew what the destination was or what I was going to do until
Mhm.
that day. Like I will wake up and then, oh, you got an idea. Okay, now pursue the idea. Now do this.
Yeah,
And once I would
exactly.
pursue the idea, it would lead me to my next step. So then
Mm,
I started doing a lot of mirror work, started talking to myself in the mirror, started doing that.
mhm.
And as I
Nice.
started talking to myself in the mirror, I got extremely comfortable with myself, which
Mm,
increased my self-love, increased my self-worth.
yeah,
And
yeah.
once I got extremely and like completely fell in love with myself, it was like I was talking to an audience. And then that's when the idea kicked in. Start making your content, start doing this. And listen, my first videos that I made for like the first 2 months were trash. Okay. I mean, I look so stupid. I look at the moment, that's how I'm looking back. I looked
Yeah,
nervous.
part of the growth.
I tend to sweat a lot. I mean, I look like a shiny, sweaty person in my early videos. And so I battled with, are you going to post it? People are going to make fun of you. Da da da. You don't know what you're talking about. Da da da. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Just post it, because you can always find a reason not to post it. But the more you post
Mm,
it, the more you get comfortable. So I just posted it, and I just kept going and kept going and kept going. And I just had unwavering faith. Like, okay, God, you said to do
yeah.
this, so you better
Yep.
have my
Yeah.
back. Like you
That's
said. Like,
You should hear when me talking to one of my friends. I'm like, this is the pact that I made with God. I said, I'm doing my part. And like you said, heaven doesn't help those who don't help themselves. I'm doing the things that you say. It's kind of like the law of attraction, or like the formula. Like, you said to do this, and if I do this, you're gonna do that. That has always stuck in my
yes.
mind. So that's exactly the faith that carried me to create Divination Life Coaching. Like, I just knew that as long as I did my part, the universe is gonna meet me
Meet
halfway. Things are gonna
you
conspire.
halfway
So keep going. I
automatically.
didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say that it's
No,
so
no, you're
real.
no, you're
It's so
totally
real.
fine. That's where that faith kicks in, because you don't
Mhm.
know what's going to happen next, but you have to have
You
that
really don't.
unwavering faith. A lot of people talk about faith and they preaching it and preaching this, have faith, the faith of a mustard seed, but you don't really see nobody
Mm.
walking in it. You don't really see nobody embodying it. I like to tell people, jump off a cliff with no parachute and we're going to see how strong your
Mm.
faith really
Mm.
is.
Mm.
Jump on. If
Seriously.
you could wake up, don't know the
Seriously.
destination, no money in your bank account, but you got that unwavering faith.
Mhm.
That's what faith is. You you
Yes.
you take the step, and then the results show up. It's
Yes.
not the other way around. A lot of people want to
Yes.
know how it's going to plan out.
Yes.
Let me make the
That's
plan.
it.
How? What's the
That's
next step?
it.
That's not faith, though.
Yeah.
And what I
Mm-mm.
realized is that the more I try to control the outcomes, the smaller the outcome is. If it's based off of my understanding, the outcome is always small. But when I just be
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm just gonna do this and just let God do, it's way bigger than I could have ever imagined. Way bigger.
Yeah.
Faith
Yeah.
is real,
Definitely.
y'all.
It's so
Real.
real. So real. That was such a beautiful story that you shared with us. And me and you have talked a
Thank
little
you.
bit earlier prior to this, and that story inspired me. Remember, you even left me some words that, by the way, I've been saying those
Good.
words. I've been saying those words. Yes, I
Yes.
wrote it down and it's by my bedside. So it's very real. And I thank you for sharing that story with me. Like, no, it's
You're
for real,
welcome.
sis. It's for real. Like, I mean, this type of work, I think people that are stepping into this place, this is not something you do just by accident. This is very intentional. This
Very,
is very
very
intentional. So if I
intentional.
don't take, if I didn't, if I asked you a question and you gave me an answer and I just, oh, that sounds good, and don't do it, that why did I ask? So I take it
Yeah.
very seriously. I want to be better as a person, as a coach to other people as well. So I'm still looking to learn each day. So that was powerful. Thank you for really sharing your journey from working, being the friend that everybody came to in high school or in preschool or whatever
Yeah.
to get advice from transitioning to work, and you being that go-to person again in that space and started coaching people around that space, and then saying, hey, you know what? I want to step out on faith and do this. Listening to your intuition, listen to the voices. We can say the voices in our head, our higher
Right.
self,
Right.
God, intuition. Everybody has different words for it.
Yep.
Ancestors, angels, and actually taking that leap of faith, like you said, to
And I
be
want
Coach
to tap
E today.
on I want to tap on to what you're saying real quick because I think it's very important. When you said that voice you hear, whether you call it God, your intuition, your inside voice, your higher self, there's so many people, and I don't want to sound like I'm attacking religion or anything, but I gotta state the facts, man. I gotta
Come
keep it
on,
100.
come on with the
um
facts.
Especially religious people, we get so wrapped up into the titles. Oh, oh, that's of the devil when you talk about your higher self and the universe and this. Don't get so wrapped up in these titles because that's all it is labels, that you shut out your intuition to where which is God is trying to talk to you, where God is trying to get your attention because you so wrapped up in these titles. You're not understanding that what we're saying is the word, God's voice, your intuition, it comes from within. It's not something outside of you. It ain't never outside of you. It's
And
always something from within. And the more you trust it, the more you acknowledge it, the more you lean on it, the stronger it gets. You build it
yeah,
like a muscle. So don't get
it's
wrapped up in these
the
titles.
muscle, the muscle.
Yes, activate your spiritual gifts and know that when you hear something, trust it. When you hear your inner thoughts, acknowledge it. When you hear something tell you don't go over here, don't do that, or you should question this, or you keep on saying, why do I question this person? Trust it. That's your intuition. That's your higher self talking to you.
Yep. Ashe. Thank you so much. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Okay. So I'm gonna start the program. We've
Yeah.
shared a few things about ourselves. Again, Coach E, you are divinely blessed, and I'm honored to be here with you.
Thank you,
And
honey.
I want this Definitely. I want this live talk show to be impactful, especially for people who are really in a space right now of despair, or in this space of, I'm going through these changes, but the people around me, even not even sometimes it's not even the people, my other voices, the negative voices in
Yeah.
my head are
Yeah.
distracting. People who are going through any type of opposition in being in trying to navigate their spiritual experiences or their spiritual growth, or just being authentic in this matrix. That's what we're going to talk
Woo!
about today. So
That
this is for
matrix,
those
baby.
people really struggling. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. It's gonna get deep. It's gonna get deep. So, just to give us a little overview, we're gonna define spiritual. I like to take things in pieces and break it down so it can really be
Yeah.
digestible. We're gonna talk about what spiritual. Again, the topic is, for those of you who are joining, spiritual elevation: how to navigate cultural expectations. And we're gonna be taking questions too, guys. So I see a lot of comments. Thank you. People are rolling in from both
I
sides. I see
love y'all.
some of my people in the
I love
chat.
y'all so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you
I'm
for
excited
rolling
y'all are
in.
here with
Yes, yes.
us.
Somebody says, I can't wait. I know. Give us that energy. Thank you. Thank you. So, again, spiritual elevation and how to navigate cultural expectations. We'll talk about what spirituality is, what it means to be spiritually elevated, what are the cultural expectations and what does that even mean. Then we'll go into like dealing with some challenges in the spiritual space. When you're going through the physical space, the challenges around that.
Ooh,
After that, we're going to go into After that, we're going to go into examples of the cultural expectations, things that people even we'll share some of our stories as well. So this is like a Divine Talks is like an interview slash open dialogue.
okay.
That's how we're going to be interviewing Coach E, but it's also me talking about myself as well, sharing my own
Yeah,
knowledge as well, and also opening up the floor to the audience to contribute. It's about us, y'all. It's not about one person. It's about us
that's
as a
right. That's
tribe.
right.
So, yes, ma'am.
And that's how we're
So,
gonna
and
grow
then,
with enlightenment
of
with each other.
course. Of course. And then we'll talk about the examples of spiritual expectations. And then I'll be asking questions as I go. And yeah, so we'll just close with some tips. We'll close with some tips on and advice on what you can give someone who's really struggling.
Okay.
So, okay, so let's get back to this. So, first, your words. What is spirituality?
spirituality to me is getting
Not
back with the
High Priestess Hood Queens. Oh, I love the comment. High Priestess Hood Queens. Stop playing. So funny.
they comedy, man. I
Yes,
love
the
y'all.
energy. I love it though. No, I mean people. They know. People can know. People know the energy. If you
Yeah.
know the energy, you know the energy.
Uh-huh.
Keep going,
Spirituality
ma'am.
is getting back to your origin because like I mentioned before, we are spiritual beings first. So
Mm.
it's tapping back into your origin and knowing who you really are because before religion, before church, before a pastor, before a
Yes,
priest,
ma'am.
you are a spirit first. You're not a body with the spirit. You're a spirit with a body,
Yes, ma'am.
experiencing enjoying this experience. So that's what spirituality is, exploring the origin of you and diving deep. Okay, what am I outside of this physical? Because we
Mm-hmm.
all know that there's a spiritual realm. So how can I
Mm-hmm.
operate in the spiritual realm and also operate in this physical realm and start to play chess with my life and not checkers? Because when you
Yes.
because one blessing about being spirit activating your spirituality, you learn how to manipulate energy. You learn how to really speak your life into existence. You learn how to
Okay.
really take control of who you are because
Yes.
you know that you connected to divine energy. You connected to
Exactly.
that
And
end all
someone just
be
said it.
all. You connected
Yes.
to that source. You connected to
Yes,
something
ma'am.
that's infinite that has
Yes.
no end.
Mhm. I love that. Beautiful answer. And someone actually said it in the chat. Rita Ramsey says, go within. I am Kudashim. Thank you for joining, brother. He says, spirituality is how you connect with the Most High. Beautifully
Yes,
said.
it
Like,
is.
these are all, there's no wrong answer. To me, I wrote down,
Yeah.
it's the act of connecting with your spirit
Yes.
in the way that you choose to, that brings you closer to your most truest, honest, authentic, most innate nature in connection with
Yes.
divinity or God. Really
I
it,
love
you know?
that.
It's
Uh-huh.
you learning you, you know? You knowing who you are, like you said, we're not human beings having a spiritual experience. It's
That's
vice
right.
versa.
That's
We
right.
we come from a different realm,
That's
a
right.
different frequency, a different vibration, and we manifest it in the physical, in this physical plane. Some people say the 3D
Yeah.
on Earth. So that's
Right.
what it is.
Right.
To me, it's really that, exactly. It's really that path of remembering. I'm not even going to say finding, because finding means it wasn't there.
Right.
Remembering
Right. It's just
what that side
remembering.
of you is. Yes. So beautifully said. Thank you for sharing that meaning. And you guys, please feel free to keep adding in the chat. My original queen. That is so true. I totally agree. Awesome. Okay, so that is spirituality. Now, what does it mean to you, Coach E, to be spiritually elevated? Again, we're just breaking down the topic so far. We're just breaking down the topic.
To be spiritually elevated is once you've understood who you really are, then you start to dig deep on the components that go with
Mm,
spirituality. Okay, well, if I'm connected to the end all be all, that means that I must be a part of that end all be all. And because
mm,
I'm the end all be all, then there's nothing that I can't be. I could be
yeah,
all.
love that.
There's nothing that I can't do. There's nothing that I can't accomplish. There's nothing that I can't
Mm,
succeed at. Because you are the end all be all, everything that you want, you desire, you can think of, anything that your brain can fathom, you have to understand that you are already entangled with it.
mm,
The moment you have an idea, the moment you have a dream, a vision, these are just a recollection of what the spiritual realm is showing you. The possibilities is already happening in the spiritual realm. You just got to align yourself to it so it can fall to you
yeah.
in the physical realm. But
Yes, ma'am.
once you become spiritually elevated, you know how to do these things because you know who you are.
Mhm. Mhm. Like you said, manipulation of energy. And when people, and it's so funny because when people hear that term, oh man, because we're all on social media, we all know that this
Yeah.
spiritual phase in the world it is so many things out there. So when people hear manipulation of energy, our mind goes to like, oh, is this dark magic? What are they talking? We're not, especially again, because most of us were raised religious,
Yes.
like I shared with you, I was
Huh.
also raised Christian. So there, even till now, there's even certain things that I'm like, when I hear it, I'm like, oh, there's still some triggers within, but
Uh-huh.
because I've grown and I understand better, it doesn't have the same impact. So
Right.
when we
Right.
say spiritual manipulation or energetic manipulation, some people are taking it a certain way. I want you to break that down. What does it mean when someone can spiritually manipulate energy?
Okay, so again, let's not get too wrapped up in titles, okay, you guys? It is important that you don't get wrapped up in these titles because then you cut yourself off for enlightenment, okay? Once you expand your mind and stop cutting yourself off from enlightenment, then you can say, okay, forget the titles, but manipulating energy is just you learning how to harness and create the world and the life that you desire.
Mm,
um just like being an alchemist. I'll tap in with being an alchemist.
mhm.
When somebody is sending you negative, you turn your negatives into a positive. You take a situation that was created to destroy you, and you see the positive in it. You use it for your benefit. um like, okay, I'll give you, oh, this is a great example. Okay,
Come on.
a great example of manipulating energy and being an alchemist, alchemizing energy, turning a negative into a positive, is okay. So I had a friend, and I started to feel like she was getting a little bit jealous and a little bit, being weird. You know what I mean? The more I started to
Mm,
elevate, the more successful I became. And I
mm,
remember I was eating. I was at her house, and we were planning on eating. Right? She had some other people over, and I was the one who just kind of added myself to the group. So they were all about to eat. They were going to order from a restaurant. She had asking me what I wanted, and I was going to, cash app Zelle her the money, whatever. And so when the food came, um what she did was very intentional. She said, oh my god, I think I forgot your order. She had gotten everybody's food but mine. So I'm not no damn fool. You know what I'm saying? I know instantly, and my intuition is through the roof. Instantly, I know, okay, she's trying to make me feel away. So instead of me popping off, like, how could you forget my food? Me knowing that she did it on purpose,
yeah.
instead of doing that, that negative energy that was
Mhm.
being sent to me, I took that negative energy, and she, oh my God, I don't know how I forgot. And I said, you know what? I said, no, God is working in my favor, because I earlier
Uh,
this morning I said I wanted to lose 10 pounds. I don't need this food. And so the
I like
rest of
that.
the
That's
girls were like,
good.
I don't need to be eating this either. Everybody and their mama in the room
Wow.
all of a sudden wish they hadn't got the food. So that
Wow.
is one perfect example of how to alchemize energy. Instead of meeting negativity with negativity, popping off, going stooping down
Yes.
low, you turn something negative into a positive to where it works for you. And that's a part of karmic laws. When you become spiritually inclined, karma works for you. Karma is something that
Yeah.
obeys you, because you're operating out of sound judgment. You're
Yeah.
operating out of good intentions. So when
Yeah.
you come across somebody who's not operating out of good intentions, you will, once you learn how to harness that, you will always have that opportunity to use it and alchemize it for your benefit, for your good.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that. I love that. And is that one you said right there is very deep, especially when you're seeing. And I think, like for me, being this whole phase of spiritual elevation has allowed
Mhm.
me my eyes to open more than they used to. Maybe there were always things that were there that I ignored. Maybe I saw it, but I ignored it. But elevation has allowed me to, I call it seeing the demons manifest. You see
Okay.
the demons manifest in people's faces. You see it in their behavior. It's right there. It's
Yes.
manifesting in real
Yep.
time. And that's not something I feel like I've ever like really, really paid attention so deeply till like maybe the last 6, 7 years. It's so interesting. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that with us on how something can happen in real time where your first senses is triggered to
Hmm.
react, but in that moment you alchemize as you
Hmm.
spoke. I mean, the book The Alchemy, y'all go pick it up. It's put it in your
Uh-huh.
collection of books, The Alchemist. But you know how to alchemize and make it into something that serves you, and even
Hmm.
that powerful to change the vibration of even people outside of yourself, the whole room,
Uh-huh.
you know.
The
So
entire
that's
room
beautiful.
conformed
The
to
entire room.
what I had going on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, and because I love to, as you're talking, I hear the questions that come in, I like to ask.
Okay.
So what is your opinion on when is it okay for someone to give that energy that you gave me, give back that energy that you're giving me? When is it okay for someone to be in a situation, because we all understand karma, we
Yeah.
all understand the yin and the yang. Sometimes, and this is my belief, I
Mhm.
agree with you as far as, of course you take that energy and alchemize it. I want to know from your experience, are there times that you say, no, this person deserves their karma right now, and I will bring the energy that you deserve because this is something you deserve right now? Still keeping my balance, not going to, but still saying, hey, in this moment, you need to be checked. Talk about that. So
See, the thing about when you start to alchemize energy, you don't necessarily have to get out of character to check somebody. I'm a perfectionist at checking you and respecting you in the same breath. Because what happened was when I said, no, 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 you doing me a favor. This worked out perfect. I don't need to eat that food. Instantly I seen the conviction on her face. So there's nothing that I could have said that would have slapped her in the face deeper than conviction did, because she felt ashamed of herself, and I seen it all over her face. Number
mhm.
one, not only did it not work, but number two, it was almost like, you know how you get a pet and they poop in the house and you put their face in the poop and say, no, 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 you kind of give them a spanking. That's kind of old school, but that's what it does. You serve as a mirror and reflection. You see your raggedy ass character, look what you did. Face yourself. Face yourself. So you don't necessarily have to, but in the moment you feel like you want to check somebody, you do it gracefully. You speak the
But when is
facts.
it okay
When
to? When is it okay to?
when is it
Speaking about the
okay
laws,
to?
talk about the laws of the universe. I understand that sometimes you don't have to be the one that like someone can do you wrong, and the karma will happen. It doesn't even have to do with you. I agree
Yeah,
that that happens all the
facts,
time. But
facts.
I exactly. But I want to understand the situation. Maybe say you have that one family member. Maybe you had this one cousin that has always antagonized you, right?
Hmm.
And at some point you're maybe you guys get into an argument or whatever the case may be. This is a long time. This is your
Yeah.
your your cousin, your of this family member, and or even your mother,
Hmm.
your sister. It could
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
anyone. When is it okay to still say, hey, again, not going out of character? Because I don't believe in that anyway. I don't believe in get into a situation where we're almost physically hurting each other. i'm
Yeah.
not i'm not saying that at all. I'm just going back to the laws of the laws of the universe, spiritual laws.
Mhm.
Are there sometimes that the karma can come back from the same person? You know what I'm saying? Said, hey, you've
Absolutely,
been
it can.
antagonizing me for 17 years. No, at this point, you deserve this, and I'm going to say these things to you.
Hmm.
That's what I mean.
Absolutely, it can. I believe that you can put somebody in their place. You can tell somebody, hold on. You real disrespectful. You real inconsiderate. You real nasty. You got a nasty character.
Mhm.
You need to check yourself. I believe in that. But as far as taking karma into your own hands, like clapping back or
Right.
wishing bad
Yeah, that's
upon them,
different.
or you trying to wield the karma, then you take
Yeah.
karma steps back. Karma don't do its job when you think that you karma. Karma don't need your permission, my permission, nobody's permission to work. It's a
That's true.
universal law that God created, and it's gonna always work. So the moment you try to do karma, karma lays flat and is null and void. And they never reap karma is to the extent that they can, because you intervened. If you just sit back, and you can still check somebody. You can still tell them, hold on, you're not going to talk to me like that. I'm not your daughter. I'm not your mom. I'm not your child. You can still check somebody, but then pull back your energy, because the moment you decide to do karma's job, it ain't going to never hit them like karma. And the
Mhm.
longer
That's
karma
true. I
takes,
agree.
it
Yep.
cooks in that crock pot. The longer it
Yeah.
takes, the harder it hits them. So don't do karma's job, because it ain't going to get them like karma will really would.
Like the way the
Because
universe is going to handle it. Okay, that's a great
a
perspective.
1,000%.
Mhm.
If you can have the discipline to sit back and say, okay,
Mhm.
you reap what you sow, man.
Mhm. Beautiful. Okay, thank you for sharing your perspective on that. That's amazing.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah. So again, we're on what does spiritually elevated mean. You answered so eloquently.
Oh,
In the
thank you.
chat, people are just living different things. Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, spiritual elevation to me, I can maybe in one sentence I can say it's like removing yourself from the matrix. That's detaching from the matrix.
Mm,
Spiritually elevating is detaching from the matrix. For me, I feel like when I started seeing, I guess, reality for what it was. I started seeing my mom for who she is, my dad for who she is, my sister, my brother, just the society, like you said, even in government. They
uh-huh.
started seeing just the world as a whole, the reality. It's like the veil was lifted off my eyes. When I
Yeah,
started seeing what it is, kind of like the movie, that movie, They Live, when you put on the magic glasses,
yeah.
it's like, so to me, I feel like once that happened is when I felt like, wow, I'm on a different. And the thing I always say, like, I had this friend of mine. This is like some time ago, and I think like around COVID. This is when like whatever happened to me in COVID, and we're gonna talk about that later as far as like the spiritual transformation. But this friend said to me, it's like a little sister of mine. She was like, Loretta, I think you left us. And to me, I was like, what is she talking about? She was like, yeah, I don't think you're here anymore. I think you left us. And to me, it resonated so deeply with me. I didn't even ask her too many times, no, elaborate and
Yeah.
explain. Whatever the words she was saying to me, my spirit, like, wow, whatever she's saying, I feel it. I'm not here like that anymore. And I don't know exactly what I can say. Like, I can't pinpoint and say this is exactly what happened and this is what happened. I mean, I know I went through healing and releasing a lot
Yes.
of things. Yes, that is definitely the magic. That is definitely the magic. But it was still like, it was still unbelievable to me to see that I had spiritually elevated from
Yeah.
where I was before in just a matter of in a short span. So spiritual elevation to me is really just detaching from the matrix and being in the world, but not of the world,
Yeah.
if that makes sense, and just existing here in a elevated spiritual plane, and still and not allowing the, I guess, the matrix and the things that come with the material world to really affect your psyche and your spirit. So spiritual elevation,
Yes.
that's what I can say in my own words as far as spiritual
I
elevation.
love that. I
Now
love
let's
it.
Blessings, blessings. Thank you. Now let's
Yeah.
talk about what a cultural expectation is. So we've defined spirituality. We've talked about what it means to be spiritually elevated. Now we're going to talk about what is cultural expectation. This is still the topic of the live, you guys. It's spiritual elevation, how to navigate cultural expectations. So we're just breaking down the title. So what is a cultural expectations to you?
Cultural
What does that mean? Cultural
expectations.
expectation.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
to me, I would say that that means that you're being held to a certain stigma, a certain standard, a certain rule. Somebody is governing you, whether it be your pastor, your priest, your boss, your employee. Somebody is governing you to make sure you stay in the lines, to make sure you don't go out of line, to make sure you be mindful not to act this way, and be mindful not to behave this way, be mindful not to do this. Don't express yourself too much. That's foul. You shouldn't dress this way. You shouldn't look this way.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't say this. You shouldn't post that on social media. So these are all cultural expectations that kind of hinder us from our spirituality, because at your peak of your spirituality, even though evolution, evolving has no destination, but there's certain peaks that you hit. And when you hit a
Yeah.
certain peak of your elevation, you realize that expressing yourself unapologetically is a form of ascension. And those cultural
Mm-hmm.
expectations put a cap on that.
Ooh.
They hinder you from expressing yourself unapologetically, expressing yourself without that rule of thumb on top. Because self-expression, when you get into self-expression, this is pure freedom. When you're not worried about
Mm-hmm.
what somebody gonna say about your shirt, when you're not worried
Mm-hmm.
about somebody gonna say if you say a cuss word, when you don't worry
Yeah.
about if somebody, well, you was late over here and she always late, when you don't worry about nothing because you know that you connected to the end all be all, is
Yeah.
pure freedom. And cultural
Yes.
expectations
Freedom.
block you from that. They block you from
Yes.
ascension.
Yes, ma'am. Powerful, powerful. That is exactly it. That is exactly it. That is exactly it. And when we say cultural expectations, I don't just mean even just society. Like we said,
Yeah.
the first society is your family
Uh
unit. That is the
huh.
first community that
Yep.
you know. It starts there. Then it only elevates to all other societies. So it's the culture. Even like being from Nigeria, it's even cultural things, tribal things that is even a part of that. Like, okay, at this because you're from this tribe, you have to marry this type of
Wow.
person, or you have to be
Yeah.
this at this age, it has to be like this, or you have to go to school to be this things, all of these cultural expectations,
That's
even from
completely
our own
controlling
tradition.
you.
Definitely, definitely. So, okay, so let's digress a little bit into spiritual elevation and spiritual
Okay.
awakening and spiritual enlightenment. Like I mentioned earlier, like when I started, I guess, transforming, I didn't realize exactly to myself. I mean, I felt like something was different. I definitely started seeing things. I'm like, what is this? What is this experience? It wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't so dramatic, because like you said earlier, even as a child, I've always been very aware of something bigger than me.
Yeah.
I've always been very aware that yes, I was here in this at 5. I'm like, okay, God, I'm here. I know that you're supposed to be, you're in heaven somewhere. Again, raised Christian. You're in heaven, and I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, what are we supposed to be doing here? So this question
Yeah.
started coming up. But and as I grew older, I always knew that there was something more to life. I always
Yeah.
knew that the human experience was not just, again, this matrix, this 3D plane. There was more, there was something about the human that was not just physical. There you go. Maybe I can say it that way. There was something innate that I just knew, but it wasn't my religion. And I always share with people that care to hear, my religion didn't lead me to God.
Yeah.
I
And that's a
found
fact.
God.
It
It
leads
did
you away
not. It
from
led
God.
me, yes, it led me to an idea of what I think that the religion understood God to be.
Yeah.
It led me to a lot of great information, yes, because even till today I still carry the Bible. There's a lot of gems. The Bible is a spiritual book anyway. I'm not gonna
Yes,
assign it to any religion per
it
se.
is.
It's just a spiritual book. It gave me a lot of knowledge, but it didn't lead me to that void that I felt like I was missing. But I kept hearing, oh, just go to church, you read the Bible, just keep praying, just keep, but it didn't. I still felt there wasn't true peace within as
It
I got
raises
older.
more
I was
questions than
searching.
it does answers.
Thank you for saying it that way. Yes. Yes, it raises exactly.
Yeah.
There was so many questions that I asked, and I always tell people I doubted my way outside of religion. Like I just kept doubting and doubting. Like I just doubted my way out.
Yep.
But and it's interesting because I tried so many years to really connect to this thing that we call God. So back to the story I was telling, when I experienced I guess, yeah, COVID was, yeah, 2019 was going into 2020 when I experienced the shifts that even made me have the confidence to create a life coaching program as a spiritual, to even go to school to get certified as a spiritual life coach. For me to even have that, the confidence, because to me, I don't feel like that's something that, like you were saying earlier, this is not something that, oh, you just, oh, okay, because you can advise, you just go be a coach. It's deeper than that.
It's
It's
very,
deeper.
it's so
Anybody
deep.
can be a coach. Yes, you don't even need a certification. You don't need to you don't need to do any of that. You can just be a life coach. There's no certification that's needed. I just made a personal choice to, but my thing
Yeah.
is, it has to be a calling within you. It has to be naturally who you
Yep.
are. So back to my childhood, I've always felt that missing void. I've always knew that there was something bigger in me. Another thing that I always noticed, that I was very compassionate about other people. Like I always was, when someone would tell me something sad, like a sad story, I would instantly like just feel bad for them, and just try to uplift them. It would affect me in that way.
Yeah.
Also, I was very brainy, and I still am today. Like I always want to analyze, why was it done this way? Why was it said this way? Why, the underlying reasons behind things. We call it psychology today. Just,
Yeah.
the study of the mind, the study of the brain. So those three things, compassion, spirituality, and psychology, has always been a part of my genetic makeup.
Nice.
Kind of like what you were saying earlier. You were that go-to friend. You were
Yeah.
that, and to me too. Exactly. Even for me
All a
in
part of the
in middle
plan.
school, before I came from Nigeria, well, we call it primary school back home. It's middle school here, but it's primary school in
Primary,
Nigeria. In
I like
primary
that.
school, I would. Yeah, primary school. So I had a couple of friends that would, at these things you don't think about it then. It's hindsight 2020. Is you being an adult now that you
Right.
reflect like, oh wow, I
Right.
was there. You don't think about it then because it's just who
Yep.
you are. So
It's
I
always
was
in
that friend that
retrospect.
was.
Yeah.
It's always in retrospect. Exactly. So that was my experience too. And then in high school, I had a certain couple of friends who would also confide in me in that way. And it just kept growing like that. So back to my question going into spirituality is, for me, I didn't feel like it was like my friend was saying, oh, I feel like you have this like amazing thing that happened, which of course is amazing. But do you think that, because I read an article that said, I'm going to read the article because I wrote it here. It says, state of supernatural, like what is spirituality? It says state of supernatural elevation, which theology describes as a gift that is not achievable through natural powers. So I'm
Right.
saying
That's
that to
right.
say I don't feel like my experience was necessarily like, oh my, some people have alien experience, an alien
Yep.
came and this.
Yeah.
I don't have experience, or God visited me. I had a dream that God showed up or Jesus came. I don't have any of those type of dreams, or those type of
Yeah.
stories. I mean, I have experiences, but not those type per se where
Yeah.
this thing appeared to me. And from that day, I knew that I was going to preach the word of God, or I was going to be a spiritual life coach. It wasn't, stop laughing. I
Yeah.
don't,
I feel you. I
that's
feel
not my
you.
story. That's not my story. It was more of, I went through a period of truly just like, for me, it was pain. Pain was my biggest motivator
Mm,
for my
I
spiritual
love
elevation.
that.
Pain was
I
my
love that.
from different areas. Yes. So I mean, again, I hate that sometimes the universe forces us to go through hard things to elevate, but we're hard headed. We're stubborn. We're
We
humans and we're
are. We
stubborn. So of
are.
course we're gonna keep banging our head in the wall. So for me, that was one of my greatest and like you said, the alchemist. I had to alchemize that darkness, that
That's
hermit
right.
mode, that
That's
the dark
right.
night of the soul, the pain, into creating something beautiful. So for me, I went through a process of letting go, allowing, and
Mhm.
deep healing. When I say I'm a mind, body, soul coach today, I went through my own mind, body, soul healing.
Oh, you went through a
Practically
great
enrolled in yoga for
purge.
like a whole year. Oh, a purge like no other. And I did it.
Yes.
I needed to do it by myself. I needed to do it alone. And I never had done this before, like just took in the path on my own. Like I would go to yoga for like 4 to 5 times a week,
Wow.
every week for 1 year. But it wasn't necessarily what I went to yoga for. To be honest, I didn't know that I was gonna experience what I
Yeah.
experienced. First, people say, "Oh, yoga is the movement and all of that." Yes, it's a movement, and you don't have to. And people, it's very controversial. People feel like yoga is demonic. There's so many things about what people feel about yoga. I can only speak from my own experience. There's some positions I don't care to get into. Like it's not about that for me.
Yeah.
I love the stretching. It was very good for my body. But what it really did for me was mindfulness. It
Yeah.
helped my mind.
That's right.
It helped me come to the present. You know what I'm saying?
I
That is
do.
what
Yeah.
I did. And then I took a Yes, and then I went to Sedona, and for some people who are very in tune with like spiritual grounds in the community or in the world, Sedona is one of the spiritual
Yeah.
grounds. It has a high, you know what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
I didn't go to, I don't think I went to the particular part where that was, but the retreat that I went to was like a cleansing retreat, was in Sedona. So I took I think it was 5 days, and I just went out there by myself with a group of people from my yoga organization or
Yeah.
class, and it was beautiful. So I'm just mentioning practical things that I did to purge before I started seeing that, wow,
That
they're
change.
experiencing
Yeah.
God. Yes, experiencing God for real. Then, of course, synchronicities, then signs and symbols, then shedding old friends and family to gain
Uh-huh.
new friends and family and tribes. So that whole process is what I went through. So back to my question again from this article that says the state of the saying that spiritual elevation is a state of supernatural elevation, which theology describes as a gift that is not achievable through natural powers. What do
That's
you
right.
think about that? Because for me, I don't necessarily, because what this is saying here is that you can't spiritually elevate if there's not a divine or supernatural agent involved. Like, so you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? What I
Yeah.
experienced, would you call it supernatural? I mean, I wouldn't call it that, but I want your view on that. What do you think happens when someone is going through this change, when someone has elevated? Do you think that it has to be a supernatural thing that has to happen, or could it just be practical things?
Um, I wouldn't say it has to be supernatural things just because how we define supernatural, but I would say it is the spiritual realm tapping on your shoulder, knocking on your door. I will
Okay.
say that, and then it could come through different experiences, but without that spiritual realm knocking on your door, you're not gonna wake up because it's the spiritual
Mm,
process. It's never from a deacon or a pastor or a priest.
mm.
Those people do not ignite your spirit. They could be teachers. They could, guide you or lead you in certain
Yes,
directions,
guys.
but The
God. Yeah.
spirituality comes from within. It doesn't come from outside people. You start to get the
Mm,
tugs on your soul.
yes.
You start to get the tugs on your mind. You start to question certain belief systems. You start to question, well, why this? Well, why that? And how come this? And how come that? It all starts from within. So I don't think it has to be supernatural experiences, but I think it's a spiritual experience from the spiritual realm knocking on your door
Mhm.
saying, it's time
I
for you to
love
wake
that.
up. It's time for you to wake up.
I love that.
Thank,
I love that.
thank
That's
you.
beautiful. I would love you to share what, like, if you can be as, I try to be as vivid as possible with my experience. What opened you up to your spiritual, or what opened up your spiritual eyes or your spiritual growth or transformation?
Um, Going through my divorce, I was distraught. I was depressed. I was devastated. I was sick to my
Oh, that
stomach.
pain,
And
pain. Ooh,
because I was so sick to my stomach, I had no choice but to say,
mm,
there's got to be a better life than this. There's got
yeah.
to be a better way. I am not meant. Always in spirit, I felt rich. I felt like I deserved the world, but I didn't know how to explain that or how to attain it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with that feeling inside, I said, okay, this can't be the end all. This can't be it. So
Uh-uh.
I disciplined my mind to say, okay, if I know this can't be the end of my world, there's got to be the beginning of a new chapter. Then there's got to be a new
Oh, I
beginning.
love that.
And because
I
I
love
shifted
that.
my perspective and opened up energetically to start to receive that newness and that enlightenment, instead of like, why is this happening to me? I'm gonna die. I'm gonna da 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 da. Da. I was seeking solution. It spiraled out of control. It just was a snowball
Mm,
effect on, oh, you looking for answers? I got the answers for
mm,
you. I mean, the spiritual realm just, it was literally like a portal. My
mm.
divorce was a
Wow.
portal for me.
That's powerful. A portal. I love that. I love
Yes.
that. Oof. I love that. Do you think that most people, so when we hear the word chosen ones,
Hmm.
do you think that some people are aligned or assigned in this realm to do certain things like this type of work, to either be it in a prophetic, in the counseling space, in the coaching
Hmm.
space, in the
Hmm.
therapy space? Do you think that people are come here with that natural innate purpose, or do you think that it's something that you cultivate or take the mantle on if it's something that you go into?
I believe that it's assigned to you and you already know the assignment before you get here. Because chosen is past tense. If you didn't answer the call, you haven't been chosen yet. You're not operating in the call yet. Because a lot of people are,
Mm.
the phone ringing, but they scared to answer the call.
Ah.
They're not operating in that
Mhm.
gift that's going to help the world go round. Chosen is
Mm.
past tense. Chosen, not soon to be chose, not chosen tomorrow, not chosen in the future. Chosen is past tense. When you answer that call to do your due diligence and raising awareness, raising consciousness,
Mm.
raising people to wake up and start living in their spirituality, then you've answered the call. So I think it's
I
something
love
that
that.
like a soul contract. You already know what's up
Mhm.
before you get here.
Okay. Okay, that's beautiful. That the reason I asked also is I mean based on what you said, but also like just learning more about like birth charts and all of those things. You know, I had a
Mhm.
reading done. I think they call it, is an I think it's a natal chart is what it's called.
Okay.
And it just it's so interesting because as the reading was happening, the things that were said, it's just no way, in my own opinion, that there's not some type of soul contract before we come here.
That's right.
Because the things I was hearing, I'm like, this is already me. Like, how does this thing know me?
Uh huh.
Because I think that it would have to take a certain, because some people are against certain things like, like reading charts and
Yeah.
astrology, because I feel like there's a fear of maybe this thing is projecting thoughts or projecting
Right.
ways of thinking into you. I don't look at it that way. For me, it's good. That's why it's really good to know who you are first
That's
before you
right.
start. Sometimes it might take you, a journey of going around. I call myself a spiritual host sometimes because I had to go around different to learn who I was. When I
Yeah.
detached from everything is when I found God within. But um, what was I even saying? Come, bring me back. Bring me back.
No, that's okay because
Do you?
there's so much to say
It's
about these titles
it's
that we're
so
talking
much. It's so
about.
much. And this is me. I always do that. I get lost. It's part. It's
I do
part of my
too.
gift. It's part of my gift.
It ain't no shame, baby. I get lost too
At
because
all.
you say one thing and it triggers another thought, then it triggers
Oh my
another thought, then it
goodness.
triggers it. You
So
on
like,
track. Whatever come out your mouth is valid.
I share. I share. So with but okay, I remember now. So with the natal chart, it's because I was already a spiritual coach. I was already doing certain things. So when I got that reading, I said to myself, this is very interesting because how am I just naturally this already? So it opened up my whole experience of wow, God is deeper than I think that we try to box God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But this thing is so ancient. It's bigger than we are. And to me, it's the connection to, that's why I say connecting with even nature, because astrology is, to me, it's just a depiction of, I guess, reading our soul DNA or soul contract, like you were saying.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if it's saying that in this chart, it's saying I'm supposed to be tapping into my highest consciousness in this lifetime. I'm supposed to be using my voice to teach others, to help myself, to heal some things, to help inspire the world, it's saying all this in this chart. And this is something that like you said, the voices during COVID, when I went through, I started
Yeah.
trusting, like this thing is saying, hey, you've already been this person. And this is easy. This is not even like work to you. You do this naturally. Why not listening to that intuition? So
You
it's
answered that
like,
call, baby.
yes. Yes. So it's so amazing to me when, I don't even know how the natal chart and everything got in there, but I think it was back to what you were saying as far as like we're chosen here to kind of already do certain things. It's
Hmm.
still something I'm trying to align with and understand more. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's very interesting. So that's why I wanted to ask you that question as far as that. Now, before we even segue into, as we keep going, I just want to interact a little bit with the audience. I know people are leaving comments. Let's read a few and then we'll see. Ask questions, guys. Thank you for rocking with us. I appreciate the energy from everyone in the audience. Let me see what some of
Okay.
you guys are saying and then we'll keep going.
Before you read the
Okay,
comments, though,
classes.
I want to remind us
Yeah.
of the time. We got about 20 minutes on here
Oh, okay. Thank you.
because
Thank you for
we'll be an
reminding us.
hour and a
Okay, about
half
20
in.
minutes.
Yeah. I got
It,
some sessions that I
it,
got.
no, and 2 hours is really the okay. So perfect. Thank you for bringing back us back to time. We're actually like more than halfway, so we're good. So
Okay.
let's just read the comments here. Some Heron says, "I am just frustrated that know so little." I'm not sure. Okay, these are all comments, so I'm just reading just to show
Yeah.
appreciation. I always like to interact as well, not just us talking. Thank you guys, Mr. Hillowan, the Nadarias, because you have a lot of to offer and you know it. Let's see. Happy you found a way. Herring Ringen. I'm sure I'm messing that up. Says happy you find a new way and a better way of living after your divorce. I think that was for you. That's amazing. Yes, for real. Because some
Thank
coming
you.
through something like that, especially us women, we're more, they say, emotional in a way. So coming through something that I feel like it's like Velcro. You're having to detach from something that is so painful because we are the feminine energy. And I've never been in a divorce, but I could just imagine because when I say I do to someone, I want it to be you forever. So
Yeah.
it's like
For sure.
detaching
For
from that.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it has to be one of the hardest things. So thank you for that comment, Heron. Um, Shavan says, call to heal. I am Q Deshim says, yes, we all have a calling, a purpose, but many run from it,
Uh huh.
yes, because they
People
get
run.
too caught up in the world, yes, of distractions and
That's right.
nonsense. Come on.
That's right.
Nonsense. I love it. Yes, agreed. And I want to even speak a little bit about that because that's our next segue anyway. What is like we no. Okay. Being in this place where, like he said, nonsense, we're still in the 3D realm. We're still in the earthly realm. We're still in the material realm. But we're spirits having this earthly experience. How do you deal with that? Because, yes, I know that we're in the world, but practically we still have to pay bills. We still
Yeah.
have to engage with our loved ones. Some of us have children, spouses, family members, friends. There's still I guess a little level of loyalty to our community and our surroundings. And if you want to not live on the street, if you want to live in a home, if you want to live in a nicer
Yeah.
place, in a nicer area, there are still things in the practical realm that we still have to engage in. So when we say it's all nonsense, and I agree, there's a lot of effery, if we I can't curse,
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
effery, a lot of nonsense.
F
But
free.
how? Yeah, a lot okay, we're just making up words. But um, I I am definitely in a place in my life right now where I'm learning to balance both because I know that it's needed. Because I also know that the spiritual people who are in the spiritual field, there has been a stigma of the poor righteous teacher. I'm
Yeah.
spiritual. I got all these gifts, and I shouldn't charge for my services, or I'm supposed to just preach the word of God
Mm-mm.
or the word of my
Mm-mm.
ancestors or wisdom or teach light to the world. But then that being in that energy, sometimes the other energy suffers because you want to focus and educate yourself and be in a space where you can do this work, but then there's still bills. There's still maybe getting another gig or having three businesses or getting a side job, to do that. How would you advise someone who is struggling in that space of I am living of the in the world and I'm still trying to focus on my purpose and my calling, but I'm struggling with living practically in this economy that is going to
Right.
shit. I had to curse slowly.
I understand. Well, first let me say, separating the two, okay, realizing, okay, we in this matrix, but I'm spiritual and I know better. So but to
Mhm.
not get so far gone that you're not enjoying your life in this world,
That's
because the
good.
moment you stop enjoying this, you cannot be too far gone that you're not even enjoying life. That
Yeah.
means you're not really as elevated as you think you are, because becoming
Mm,
elevated is teaching you how to bring the life that you desire, bring the cars,
mm,
bring the clothes, bring the
mm.
joy, bring the happiness, bring the kingdom spouse. That's what it's meant to teach you, instead of getting
Yep.
so lost and wrapped up into, well, I'm a spiritual being and I'm spiritual. No, you're in outer space. Bring it back down and live with a purpose. You still
Yes.
have to enjoy your life here. So with that being said, when you operate in your calling and people who are not charging, you need to start charging. You need to start charging for your gifts,
Hmm. Yes.
your products, and whatever the price is, that's what the price, because you are valuable. Your abundance comes from your calling. Your abundance comes
Hmm.
from your gifts. When you start operating in the natural born gifts and talents that God has given you, the the possibilities are endless. Think about your favorite singer. They're operating in their God-given talent. That's why they're so abundant. Think about your
Yes.
favorite basketball player, your favorite actor. These people are operating in their natural born gifts. That's why they're so abundant. Your gifts can bring fortune that can't no 9 to 5 pay you. And guess
Mm.
what? You ain't got
Yes.
to be on nobody's clock. You ain't got to answer to nobody. All you have to do, you don't have to work physically. You have to work spiritually. That means aligning yourself, doing your due diligence, helping
Mm-hmm.
people, making the world go round. It's a
Exactly.
spiritual hard working, not a
Yeah.
physical hard work. So I would
Yeah.
tell
Love it.
anybody, you can operate in your gifts and call in your fortune, as long as when you know who you are. You don't have to be
That's
broke operating in
it.
spirituality. That is not a thing.
Exactly.
You can
No.
tell when people know who you can tell when people know who they are, because you see the fruits that they bear.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you see
Yes.
people bearing fruit, it don't mean that they rich. It don't mean that they got everything figured out. It don't mean that. It means that everything is arriving for them in perfect timing. That's it.
And it takes a high level of confidence and
It
trust in
does.
self.
Woo, that faith,
Yes.
baby.
I love
That
that.
faith.
Yes, the faith is that faith. Okay, so the next part of this, we're going along here. What are some challenges while in the spiritual transformation phase? Some of the things I wrote down here are the burden of expectations. Being chosen places immense pressures on individuals to perform for society, being that you're supposed to be a certain way, and maybe people might judge you in different ways. So what is your experiences with the expectations, let's say, that you've experienced while in this, who you are today? What are some burdens that you've experienced?
Um, I went through an emotional roller coaster, leaving Christianity, leaving religion, and going into spirituality. Because, oh no, am I gonna go to hell? Am I
Mhm.
unworthy of the glory of God? Am I, all of those negative teachings that get impounded in our head that have a negative connotation around it. It comes
Mhm.
over you like a dark cloud, and it makes you question yourself. And it's like you're being rebellious, you're being bad, you're not doing what they told you to do. But then you have to understand that all of those things is something that you was taught. You are literally inheriting other people's belief system as a child. You're inheriting other people's truths as a child. So it's important for everybody to step into their own truth. And let me be the first to tell you that there's multiple truths out here. This world is so
Mhm.
complex that there's multiple versions of the truth. There's not just one end all be all version of the truth. Absolutely not.
Mhm.
There's multiple truths, and the more that you expand your mind, you will see, oh, that actually is true in that person's life. Oh, this actually
Mm.
is happening in my life. Oh, that does reign truth over there for them. So the emotional roller coaster was one of the biggest things that I had to overcome with going
Okay.
deeper into spirituality and leaving my old lifestyle behind.
Awesome.
Did I
Awesome.
answer it okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you did, and we're just flowing because also, yeah, you're right with time too. We're flowing, but yes, you answered perfectly. The next one I have is isolation and loneliness. A
Mm.
sense of isolation is something that a lot of people go into a transformation experience. In your own words, share your experience on if you went through that moment of isolation. How were you able to keep your mental health together, and how did you come out of that?
So when that call is calling you and spirituality is knocking on your door and it's snatching you up and you don't know what's going on, immediately after it's almost like a blueprint. Everybody who goes through spirituality is almost the same blueprint. They start to question themselves. They start seeing synchronicities. They think they losing
Yeah.
their mind. They go through the emotional roller coaster, and then immediately following that tends to be the isolation, because the
Mhm.
isolation is implemented, is in full
Yes.
effect, because when you starting to tap into who you are spiritually and figuring out that God is in you, you are a complete manifestation of God. It takes for you to be isolated. It takes for you to be away from the
Yes.
chatter.
Ooh.
It takes for you to be away from everyone's opinions. It takes from you to be away from everybody's philosophies of life, and you become isolated because you go within. A lot of people are go within. Nobody understands what that means. Going within is and being isolated go hand in hand. You start to talk to
Yes.
yourself, you start to hear
Yes.
yourself, you start to learn
Yes.
about yourself, you start to learn about your own toxicity, you start to learn about things that you don't
Mhm.
like about yourself that you need to fix. You start to work on your
Looking in
body,
the
you start
mirror.
to work on your health, you start to look on your health, you start to become real familiar with that person in the mirror. And that's what it
Yeah.
takes to know who you are truly. And that's the true definition of healing. You start to heal yourself of toxic behaviors. You start to heal yourself from oh, niggas ain't shit. You start to heal yourself from
Yeah.
just toxic past issues and this and you start to take accountability for yourself. And that is the true definition of healing, when you take full responsibility for your life. And a lot of that
Yes.
cannot happen with all these people around, all this chatter,
Yes.
all the confusion, all
Yes.
the opinions. Isolation is the icebreaker for spirituality.
Yes. Love it. Couldn't have said it better. I love that.
Thank you.
The only thing I tell people, there's two ways. Some people are isolating and in negative habits, and
Yes.
or not habits but behaviors, engaging in negative behaviors. So it's always good to be mindful of what isolation phase that you're in or what you're doing in isolation. Be mindful
Mm.
not to get into to dark mental
Yes.
thoughts or dark behaviors that are detrimental to your spirit, to your mind, body, soul. But I agree with you 100%. I had to get by myself. I'm not going out on the weekend like no, I don't feel like hanging out right now. I had to do all those things, with the breakup. I had to just find that space with that breakup and not try to like just like, okay, Loretta, there's a reason why you're broken up right now with this man. Just be by yourself. So it took that level of not wanting to engage too much with
Yeah.
the world and just being by myself. But again, that's why I say it's very easy. The human brain is very sensitive. It's easy to fall into dark behaviors and
It
dark
is.
mental patterns and thoughts. So be very mindful and guard your crown. Pray, call in the divine spirits, call in God, universe, whatever your name, ancestors, call in light beings and energies to be with you and help you through that process. And just put yourself to do positive activity
And
Positive
let
activity.
me add this about isolation. When you answer that call and you start to be in isolation, it is important that you realize that in isolation, you focus on yourself, you work on yourself, you build something, you create something, you expand, you evolve, you grow. Because the moment you become victim, why has this happened to me? And you fall into a depression instead of creating and
Yeah.
focusing on something, then you fall short of the call almost. But when you
Yes.
say, like, when you have that isolation period, you ain't taking care of nobody else, you just focused on yourself, and you start to create something, that is the beginning of your new journey. It is important that when you're in
Exactly.
isolation, you cultivate something, because that's what it
Yes.
takes. A lot of people want to go
Yes.
after their dreams, but they don't have the isolation. They got too many distractions
Mhm.
that
That's
pull on their
good.
time. So that isolation is the perfect incubator for growth and renewal. So build
Mm.
something, work on something,
Beautiful.
sharpen yourself, exercise your gifts,
Exactly.
work on your business, create your talent. It is important for you to evolve yourself. And you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
have it all figured out. You just take one step every day, and
One step
God gonna meet you
at
halfway.
a time.
Period. God gonna meet you halfway.
I love it. I love it. I birthed divination life coaching
Uh huh.
in my
Uh
isolation.
huh.
That's it. That's
You
the
answered
baby
your
that I was
call.
birthing in that moment. That's the, like you said, the incubation period. I didn't know that
Yep.
was what was happening per se, but that's what came out of that. And another thing I want to add too is that's the moment, some people call it the hermit mode or the dark night of the soul. That is the moment that you're refining yourself
Uh
from
huh.
the old self into the new self. It's one of the toughest periods. People don't like to be alone. We're humans, we're interactional or interpersonal beings. We like to be with other people. It's very hard, yes. But if you're about that life, if you're here for a specific thing, you have to
You gonna
go
be
through
carried
that
through.
period.
You gonna be
Yeah,
carried
exactly.
through.
You're gonna be forced into that anyway. So okay, so moving on from that, that was the next thing was mental health. Part of the challenges of spiritual transformation. The last one here is mental health challenges. Mental health struggles such as anxiety, depression, loneliness, burnout. What can you advise someone who is experiencing that right now in mental health issues?
If you isolated and you feeling dark sometimes, you feeling depressed, you feeling anxiety, you feeling that sense of loneliness, I want you to stop listening to yourself. Stop listening to those thoughts.
Mm,
Why am I alone? I don't have anybody to talk to. And I want you to start talking to yourself. Start telling yourself how great you are. Start telling yourself and reminding yourself of all the things you've accomplished. Start telling yourself the things you want to accomplish. Start telling yourself all the wonderful things you could ever imagine about yourself. And the more you obsess over that, instead of obsessing over the negative part of it, that's what you're
mhm,
going to manifest. So
mhm.
you have to be intentional. You got to be on purpose, because our brain, our default settings is negativity. That's what it is in this matrix. It's easy for us to say, I'm a screw up versus I'm a billionaire. It comes easier to say that you're a screw up.
Yes,
So you have to be
yes.
intentional about stopping negative thoughts, stop listening to yourself, and start talking to yourself. Start on purpose saying the things that you want your brain to hear.
Mm,
Your brain is like a computer. It's like Google. It's like, or if it's a computer, what apps are you downloading? Are you downloading depression? Are you downloading fear? Are you downloading worry? Or are you downloading success? Are you searching how to be a billionaire? Are you searching how to buy a house? Are you searching how to get a business off the ground? What are you searching on your computer? What are you downloading? What are you installing on your computer? And if you're not on purpose installing positivity, then negativity is going to come automatically. So you have to be
word.
intentional about, you tell your brain what you want it to do. You tell
Yes,
your computer on what you
exactly.
want it to search and what you want it to be.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. People don't realize that you have the authority. It's the two
That's
spirits.
right.
Is the one is that say there are two wolves. Is the one that you feed the most that becomes stronger.
That's
So
right.
the more you're feeding the bad wolf, that's you're becoming that.
Yep.
So it's very powerful. And like you said, we're all children of the Most High. We're
That's right.
descendants of the most powerful force that our minds can even fathom that. Tap into that energy. You're an
That's right.
offspring of that.
That's
And
right.
that thing brought us here to live life abundantly. The spirit of love, peace, and power and a sound mind. It's not for you to be having messed up
That's right.
thoughts. Your grant is your birthright to have a sound mind. Period.
That's right.
you
That's
know?
right.
So Yes, and okay, so I know we probably almost got like about 7 minutes left. And what would you advise someone who is going through work-life balance, personal balancing their personal life with their professional life, and how to navigate in personal relationship? We can say for personal people who are in romantic relationships, in family dynamics with children, with friends, and so on, and people who are in professional settings with people who are coaches, motivational speakers, people in the prophetic, pastors, whoever. How do you balance work-life balance? Work-life. How do you balance? Yeah. How do you deal with work-life balance in that space of growth, of spiritual transformation? How are you juggling the two? Because that's very tough right now for a lot of people.
It is. It's important that you realize that you create your universe. Universe as in YOU. You create your world, okay? So when you're feeling overwhelmed, it's important that you speak the opposite of it. Instead of, like, if you feel overwhelmed for the day, or you don't know how you're gonna get the kids, do dinner, do homework, and you still got some stuff to work out for work or whatever, I want you to take a step back. And take you 2 seconds. Take a step back and say, God, show me how easier this can be. All the biggest overlooked scripture in the Bible is you have not because you ask not. That's the biggest overlook, and people be preaching it, but
Mm,
they ain't living it. Ask yourself
mm,
out loud, show me how easier this can be. Show me how much smoother my life can get. Show me how I can navigate this more easily. Show me how much more convenient my job could be for me. you
I
you
love that.
ask and you shall
Ask.
receive, period. You just all you got to
I
all you
love
got to do is ask. But you have to open up your
it.
mouth, and when
Mm,
when you start to see the answers falling in, you can't be scared to receive it, because people ask for a better job, but then when God makes push them out of their old job and they get fired, they don't want to walk into it because of fear. If you go ask for it, you got to be open to receive. So start to ask
mhm,
God, show me how much easier this could be. Show me how I can make more money and work less hours. Show me how I can be
mhm.
emotionally available for my children when I'm exhausted throughout the day. And I promise you, them answers
Mm,
gonna start to bombard you. They're gonna flood in, but you've got to be in
mm.
a state of mind to
Ask.
receive it.
I love that. Beautifully said. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Now we're going to close out here with examples of cultural expectations. I'm going to list some and I'm going to ask you what has been the most challenging one for you. So, examples of cultural expectations. People deal with unconditional kindness, feeling that you have to be the yes man to everything. You just have to always be this loving and peaceful and kind, even when people are um, abusing you. So those are just some examples. So examples of cultural expectations: unconditional kindness, expected to be kind, generous to everyone, even when abused; selflessness and service, expecting not to be selfish, to always be at the beck and call of everyone; calmness and composure, even in challenging situations; detachment from materialism. We talked about that earlier, feeling like, okay, I'm not supposed to want a nicer environment to live because I'm on this spiritual path. Non-judgmental, expected to accept everyone as they are, even when they're detrimental to your
Mhm.
space. So,
Mhm.
what are some, and also the last one was expected to be love and light all the time. So, these are just some cultural expectations that I've listed. I would like you to share with us what have been the most difficult expectation from your peers, from society, from your family that you've had to overcome.
Um, People expecting me to be available for them all the time. And even now, because I am a life coach and I'm either on the phone or recording, my phone, it be ready to overheat. So when I do get done calling or recording, because I'm recording for Facebook, Instagram,
Mm,
YouTube, I'm always recording.
mm,
So people are like, I haven't talked to you, you haven't called me, and I have to remind them it's not personal. I don't even want to touch the phone sometimes, y'all. I don't even want to be, I have to have boundaries to say, okay, I
mm,
just want my thoughts to myself. I want my opinions to myself. I want to give myself advice. I don't want to touch the phone. I don't want
mhm.
it to ring. I don't want to hear no notifications. I don't want to hear no shares. I don't want to hear no messages. I don't want to hear no emails. So
Yeah,
so setting those boundaries, because people expect me to be so available to them,
yeah,
has been a
that's
huge
good.
challenge in the past and in the present, because people tend to take it as like a personal rejection
Yeah,
because I don't want to be on the
yeah,
phone. And I too am trying to balance that, because it is my duty as well to nurture and to pour into relationships that are important to me. So
Mm.
I'm still asking God,
Yeah.
show me how easier
Right.
I can navigate these relationships,
Yeah.
because I don't want to be on the phone. But you still have to pour into relationships that you love, you know? You still, because
Yeah.
relationships
I'm gonna
are
have to
work.
start scheduling some time on the calendar. I'm gonna call you on March 15th. We're gonna have For real. No, it's tough. And that's why that's why this topic was very dear to me, because I'm
Right.
also some of my clients, some of my friends, some of my family, people are around me experiencing very similar things, because the whole world is really going through a massive
Yeah.
transformation, really, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a very important topic. Again, we're almost closing out here, guys. I thank you for rocking with us. 43 people in the chat. It
Yeah.
keeps growing. Look, we're gonna have to come back for another part two, right?
We are, and we should,
For
because
real.
we could talk all day about this, all
Seriously.
day. We definitely should
So
come
the
back for a
last
part
thing,
two.
for sure, and I appreciate your time today. So now let's be more practical now. People who are in the workplace and are dealing with coworkers or colleagues, giving them a hard time or putting pressures on them while they're trying to be their authentic self and be on the path. Something that you have experienced while you were in the workforce, because from what I understand now, you're no longer in the workforce. What are some things? How did you stay grounded in the work? We're going to talk about the workplace with loved family, loved ones, and also with community. Those three things, and then we'll close out. So, in the workplace, give someone who is going through practical challenges at work right now, going through a transformation, going through a spiritual elevation, and dealing with coworkers that keep getting on their nerves.
Uh-huh.
How do you practically stay grounded while dealing with coworkers?
Coworkers, it could be tricky, because in the work environment, they make it seem like if you're not doing what they want you to do, then you're not being a good employee. You're not meeting the quota, you're not meeting the goals, and you have to prove yourself in order to
Yeah,
qualify. You got to prove yourself in order to get the promotion, get the raise. There's a lot
yeah,
of proving. There's a lot of ASS kissing in the workplace, whether we doing it
definitely,
consciously or unconsciously.
definitely.
So if you elevating and you aware of these people, and you just don't really want nothing to do with them, you want to go do your job, come home, be peaceful. You don't want to be a part of nobody's clique. You're not a part of the latest drama. Um, I would say you be the beacon of light. You be the
Mm,
one. And what that looks like for me working in a prison was, when people come to my unit ready to gossip, I don't entertain that. Oh,
mm,
you talking about Cheryl? Well, why don't you go tell Cheryl instead of me? I'm not here for
yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get comfortable calling people out, and stopping them
Yeah.
in their BS.
Mm,
You got a problem with me? Well, that's a personal thing. No, I don't feel away. No, I'm completely neutral. You want to know my
mm,
opinion about something negative? I'm
right.
completely neutral with that. That ain't got nothing to do with me getting this check here. You have something negative to say? Well, it's too early in the day for you to be so negative. I used to make people feel bad for negativity. I did, and I did it pretty well.
Mm,
They Because if you don't call people out, and if you don't put on this
yes,
armor that you're not with it, then it's too easy to get sucked into it. Because when
definitely.
let me tell you, tea is hot. Whether you serving the tea
Mm-hmm.
or sipping the tea, it's gonna burn you. Let me say it
Mm-hmm.
again. Whether you serving the tea or sipping the tea, it's gonna burn you. So it's important for you to check people where they stand and put on that armor, so you don't get sucked in. Because once you get sucked in, it's hard to pull out. It's going to
Mm,
be difficult for Tiffany to come to you and say, hey, giving you the tea, and then the next day you say, no, I don't want to hear it. It's going to be difficult for you to put that roadblock up if you've been drinking the tea every dang day. But the
mm,
moment you put that roadblock in and say, nah, this is not, you know what, I'm tired. We could talk about anything. We could talk about money. We
yeah.
could talk about
Yeah.
businesses. We could talk
Talk
about
about that.
health. We could talk about wealth. We could talk about all this successful,
Yep.
abundant stuff, instead of talking about
Yep.
somebody else.
Yes.
I tell people out the gate, bringing other people down, that's a broke man's mindset. I don't want to
Mm,
talk about that. And it brings conviction. I want you to
mm,
feel convicted around me, because that means I'm triggering
mm,
growth inside of you. When you talking about
that's
other
beautiful.
people, when you acting nasty, so when you in the workplace and you elevating and you working on being a positive person, intentional, you have to get comfortable with stopping people in their tracks when they bring low vibrations to you. You have to protect your vibration. You have to protect your mindset that you cultivating. You have to protect your new belief system that you cultivating, because if not, they're gonna keep on bringing it to you. They're
Mm.
gonna keep on bringing it to you.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Beautifully
you got to
said.
ground
Beautifully said.
yourself.
Big D energy, like we said. So okay, we talked about what I'm telling you is big D energy. Work divine, y'all. Big divine energy, y'all. Big divine energy. We talked about we talked about in the workplace. Now with loved ones. Loved ones could be family and friends. How do you stay grounded? How do you stay in your square with loved ones that maybe not agreeing with the path you're on, or not even believing in your spiritual practices, or jealousy from your family and your friends? How do you navigate that space with loved ones?
Man, with loved ones, the ones who don't understand what I have going on, I don't even expect them to. I don't try to. I avoid conversations between like religion and spirituality when it comes to certain. You know when people
Tasha, I'm
are.
sorry. Real fast. Tasha says, "What is the next call? I'm ready for the next one." Yes, this is amazing. She says,
It
I'm,
is amazing.
"I love that." Okay, keep going.
You can get a sense of who is open minded to hearing why you do what it is that you do. You can get a sense of who might be, they might not believe everything, but they might be curious, and you can know who's completely shut off and don't want to know what you got going on spiritually, and think that you a demon, and think that you a sheep and wolf clothing. You can get a sense of, and so for those people, they don't have ears to hear, so you just leave it be. It's not
Mm,
your job to save everybody or to save the world. So you love them and you place them where need be. When it comes to family, like bringing negativity towards me, or I'm really big about protecting my peace, especially when I first went through my spiritual awakening. I was really big on protecting my vibration, nothing getting me out of alignment, because I needed to focus. And what that meant was, some family members, if we was talking every day, then that meant for me only talking to them maybe on a Saturday, and that's it. Not giving so
mm.
much of my energy, not giving so much of
I
my
like
time,
that.
because all of it is being consumed with what? BS, drama.
Mm,
And when you go through a spiritual awakening, you know better that intentionally you're doing the opposite of that.
mm,
So
mm,
instead of answering the phone call, answering family members when they call you, know they ain't doing nothing but bringing you down, or saying stuff that's going to take you out of alignment, or something that contradicts your belief system.
mhm,
You don't have
mhm,
love them from the balcony. You can love people from the balcony, and it's more than okay. You ain't got to give them a reason. You ain't got to tell them why. All you got to do is love people from the balcony. If they say, well, how come we don't really talk no more? There's just some things that I'm focusing on that need my undivided attention. That's it.
mm.
And that's just
I love it.
how I
I
place
love it.
friends and family. You can get a sense of who should fit where in your life.
Hmm. Hmm. I love that. Beautiful, beautiful. Then the last one is community. How do you deal with community? Community could be religious groups, it could be organizations, it could be sororities, fraternities, tribal groups, whatever. How do you deal with people in your community? You know, a lot of times with communities, there's set rules, there's regulations, there's policies. You got to be a certain to be part of this organization. How do you stand to be individualistic, going through your own spiritual growth and still wanting to be, connected to the community? How do you balance both?
Um, Well, I would say for me, it's a little easy to balance both, because I create communities. Because I do what I
Mm,
do, I'm always the creator of a community. And if I'm the creator of a community, then it's in alignment with my belief system, and alignment with what I want to do, and alignment with my practices. But if there's a community that I, won't mind joining or being a part of, I'm the type to never ask to be a part of nothing. I show up and let my character speak for itself. And if you feel that I'm in alignment with you, then you will ask me. Because I
mm,
don't, because we can tend to get into this, let me prove, let me qualify,
yeah,
let me into that energy,
yeah.
when it's a little bit toxic. So I don't ask people to be a part of anything. I don't. People tend to, because I have that mindset, people invite me places. People extend the offer to me, and because the offer is extended to me, I know it's in alignment, and the universe then constructed it to where it's exactly what I need. So I don't. I on purpose don't look for communities, and I ask God bring the communities to me, because when it comes to me, I know it's divine and it's in alignment with what I need.
I share, attract, don't chase. Attract. I
That's
love
it
it.
right there. We
Okay.
attract, don't chase.
Uh-huh.
That's it
Uh-huh.
right there. That's exactly
So
it.
thank you for sharing your views. Those were, I mean, I was, I always like to do my own brainstorming before every single episode. I like to do my own brainstorming. To me, those three stood out to me: workplace, loved ones, and community. Those are different aspects of our lives that are probably the aspects of our lives. So that's why I wanted to talk about that, and people who are really trying to navigate those spaces while on this path. So thank you for answering that so eloquently and
not
very
everybody
um,
not everybody has the discipline or the right mindset or the magnetic energy to attract things that for them.
for
And if you're
sure.
not in a space to where you're fluently attracting things that's divine for you, then a piece of advice I would say is properly vet these communities, properly vet these people that you hang out with, properly vet these groups and sisterhoods and brotherhoods that you want to be a part of. Make sure that their belief system is in alignment with you. Make sure there's positivity in it. Make sure that people have good, healthy mindsets, because you want to stay away from people who have a ranking system. You want to stay away from people who, oh well, I'm this soul sister and you're that soul sister, or I'm this type of person or this leader and you're the community part leader. You want to stay away from the rankings, because rankings inadvertently, unconsciously put you in competition with others. And that's the worst thing you can do for your elevation.
Mm. Period,
Here.
point blank. Now, society wants us to be in a matrix, in a box, as some form of mind control. Someone is out there struggling in this space, in limbo, to navigating this phase of living the old self to the new self. What is one advice you can leave with us today for someone who is trying to navigate being in the matrix and aligning with their own spiritual ascension?
Well, you got to understand that when we say the matrix, it's the domination of what this world is ran off of. And it's ran off of fear and lack of. Anytime you fear something, you can be controlled. Anytime you focus on scarcity or the lack of or what you don't have, you can be controlled and manipulated. The key is to operate outside of the matrix and understand that this world is abundant. And God shows you how this world is abundant by nature. Look at the trees, you can't count trees. Look at the leaves, you can't count leaves. Look at the birds, you can't count birds. Look at the dirt, you can't count dirt. Look at the water, you can't count water. Look at the raindrops, look at the clouds. You guys feel what I'm saying? That's how God shows you how abundant this world is. So tapping outside of the matrix is you're not worried about gas prices. Why? Because money is constantly flowing anyway. You're not, what you
Yeah.
gonna do? Not get gas? No, you're gonna get gas and you're gonna ask God to show you a better way to live with the gas
Yeah.
prices. You're not going to
Yeah.
worry
I
about, oh,
love that.
there's murderers out there. Of course, there's murderers everywhere. You're going to stay in alignment and ground yourself and say, I'm always protected and provided for.
Mm.
That's you. You can't physically escape the matrix. You can
Right.
mentally escape the matrix. When you know who you are and you step in your divine truth, you escape the matrix mentally. You're not worried about
Mm.
lack. You're not worried about restrictions. You're not worried
Mhm.
about restraint. You're not worried about all the negative things in the world. You're worried about all the positive things. You're not worried about worst case scenario. You're worried about best case scenario. You're not worried about all the bad things that could go wrong. You're worried about all the good things that could go right. That's how you mentally escape the matrix.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that.
You're
Sister
welcome.
Queen, Goddess, you have been amazing today. I would love you to share your information with, of course, some people in here are your people. They already know how to get in contact with you, but share it for the people that have never ever met you before, have never even come in contact with you before on social media or anywhere. How can we get a hold of you, and what exactly are you, how does your work help the people? How does your work help the people, and how can they contact you?
Um, my life coach sessions is really going to transform your life. You are definitely going to be elevated to a whole nother level. Your self-worth and your self-love, your value is going to increase. Your confidence is going to increase. Your bravery is going to increase. That lack scarcity mindset is going to be completely diminished.
Mm.
Your entire existence is going to be catapulted to a whole new level. I take what I do with pride. I pour my all into helping my clients. I also manifest that whoever books any kind of session with me or spends any kind of money with me, that they receive it back to them times 10. I also when you book a session with me or you connect with me, it's not just me telling you my opinion. I'm sitting before I start a session, I'm talking to God. Tell me exactly what they need that's going to nurture their soul, that's going to fix their problem. That's I'm not just a sounding board for you to vent to. I'm literally going to fix your life.
Mm,
It's a gift of mine. It's the calling that I have, and we fixing lives. If this your first time
mhm.
seeing me, then you can go to my page, and I have a link tree in my bio, and it has everything that I offer in the link tree.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And I'll share myself again. My name is Loretta. I'm a
Yes.
certified spiritual life coach. I reside here in Las Vegas, and I have taken on the mantle as well to live my life purpose, to remember who I am. And I
Yes.
believe that even you, I feel like we've been here several times in this lifetime. We're just reincarnated again. I believe in reincarnation.
Uh-huh.
So I'm remembering who I was in another life, or who my ancestors have chosen to do this work in this lifetime. So
Yeah.
that's what I do. I help people identify invisible blockages. I had a lot of invisible
Yes.
blocks. I don't think that we can ever not have some type of invisible blocks. We're human. We're still dealing with all those things. But I've dealt with so many invisible blockages. I guess I've seen in the mirror the things that I didn't used to see before. I've
Yeah.
learned to unblock my mental strongholds, my limiting beliefs in my own self. I've done that work within myself, and I've taken on the mantle to help others. So that's what I do now, is helping people balance the mind, body, and soul using practical life coaching tools with spiritual mindfulness and therapeutic tools to get them to their goals. And
I
for
love that.
anyone going through this matrix right now and is going through a very hard time, like Sister said, we don't leave the matrix per se. We can only mentally check
That's right.
out of it. I would say identify where, first of all, identify who you are. Identify who you are. Identify where you're trying to go. Identify the person that you need to be to get to where you're trying to go, because that's another thing. We can see the vision, we can have
That's
all the
right.
vision boards in the world, but if you don't get rid of the limiting beliefs, if you don't focus on your own traumas and heal and look at your own self and remove the part of you, I call it the the opposition force in your own mind that is preventing you
Get
from your
rid of the
greatness.
ops,
If
y'all.
you know what I'm saying, if you don't quiet the voices and become the person that is going to be able to sustain the vision or the gift or the goal that you're trying to get to, because it might not be the way you are now. Like,
That's
you
right.
might, God can give you the universe can grant you this gift, but you may not be ready to actually step into it and do it. You might lose it. So it does take a change within you, leaving the old self
It
into the
does.
new self, to be able to carry that gift. And I would also say what patterns and blocks are stopping you. And also, what we talked about, isolation. The last thing is separation, isolations. Be alone for a while. Everybody's scared to be alone. Be alone for some time. That is the way that you and God wrestle, wrestling with
You're gonna come
God in
out
that
like a
moment. And then,
beast. You're
yeah,
gonna
oh
come
my
out so
goodness.
sharp.
Oh my goodness. I love that you can collaborate my own experiences too, because
Yes.
it makes me know, like, no, for real, like you said, there's a blueprint. I'm
Yep.
seeing it now. The more
It's a
people I'm
blueprint.
talking to, I'm like, it's a blueprint. We're
It
all
is.
going through the same similar things. So that's why we took our time today on this lovely Sunday to come and hold space for ourselves and with you guys to talk about something important, because we care, I care, she cares about
That's right.
elevation and getting us to true mental, spiritual freedom, because we deserve it.
That's right.
So thank you guys for being a part of this workshop. Or look, at this point it was a workshop live,
I know,
whatever.
right? Will
Yes,
you
and in the
share this?
future, yes.
Will you share this and make sure so I can tag not tag me, but so I can post it on my
Okay, the collaborate thing, or
yeah, yeah, do the
the collaboration.
collaboration. That way
Okay, I hope live allows me to do that. I hope it allows me to do that on live. I don't know if I'm
I
gonna
don't
try. I'm gonna try to
know if
collaborate
you
on
could
live. I don't
I
think
don't
that
know if it's the collaboration button, but I have gone live with other people before and I was
uh-huh.
able to post it on
To
my
have it on your page.
they do something. They do
Perfect.
something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna figure it out. So
Okay.
this has been amazing, guys. I have two pages. This is Divination Life Coaching, and the other one is Divine Talks. You feel free to follow both pages to keep in contact. I also offer Zoom sessions as well, virtual sessions. You don't have to be in Las Vegas to book a session. And Miss Coach E, that's the best. But Miss, I'm so used to saying Miss because of the respect level from Africa.
Uh-huh.
Everybody's a Miss or Ma'am or Mister. Miss, you're my big sister, so I'm still gonna show that respect. Miss Sister big sister, Coach E, what is one thing you can leave with the audience today? Someone who has watched this whole thing and is saying, I'm still struggling. Just leave some words of encouragement for the people who are watching right now or who are going to be watching in the future. Something you can leave them, some words of inspiration, to get through this matrix and to spiritually elevate while they are navigating societal norms.
Okay. Here's a little nugget for you. If God, the end all be all source, whatever you want to call it, can create a body to where we can swallow, we can eat, we can blink, we can touch things without even trying, then he damn sure can
Mm,
make you financially free. It's lightweight for him.
mm,
He damn
mm,
sure can bring you that dream house, that dream car, that dream finances, that dream career, that dream business. Just think about it like that. If God could create an entire body with all these cells and
mm,
molecules that are operating harmoniously, then you can
mm.
have some money, baby. That's lightweight to
I
God,
love it.
okay?
I
So
love it.
that's what I'm gonna
I
leave
love
you
it.
all with. Somebody in the comment section said, what did he say? He said save the link and then share it or something. Where did it go? Oh, he said
Save, save,
save the link and send it. If you don't see the
save.
collaboration part.
Okay, so save the link and then send the link to you.
To me, yeah.
Okay, okay, I can do that. I know how to. Okay, I know how to copy link. Okay, we're gonna make this happen. I'm gonna try to collaborate, but if not, I'll do that.
Yeah.
So this has been amazing, guys. Thank you all for joining us, and I believe if the universe aligns, we'll come back for another beautiful topic. So keep a lookout. Follow both of our pages. Thank you for your time today, sister. You have an amazing
Thank
rest of
you
your
for
day,
having
and
me.
I hope to
I
connect
really
soon.
enjoyed. I really
Thank
enjoyed this. I had a great
you.
time.
Yay! Blessings. Enjoy your day. We'll
Bye.
talk soon.
Happy
Okay.
Sunday.
You too. Peace. Peace, everyone.